How the book came about is after I had my son, I literally called my OB-GYN, Dr. Tristan Bickman, who collaborated with me on the book as well. And I called her like 9 times a day. And this was only, of course, days after my son was born. And I remember thinking to myself, I need to stop calling her. I went in to go see her. She said more women have questions after they have children, you know, than before, because you got great books like What to Expect When Expecting and Jenny McCarthy's Belly Laughs, which I loved. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a post-pregnancy book about that first time. It's tough.
It is. So what are some of the things in the book that that you didn't know ahead of time that you learned? Like, what's one of the big takeaways? You're like, I had no idea this would happen to me.
I had no idea that my body would change so much physically. Like right after I had my Titan, I looked in the mirror and I was like, who is she? I don't even know who she is. Like my stomach was just a completely different color, like a charcoal color, like black than the rest of my skin. Like so many other things that I touch on in the book, but that one just threw me all the way off.
You do talk a lot about your lady parts in the book.
Yes.
In that way.
Yes, I say her and she, because I said, you know, after a woman has a baby, she doesn't want to be bothered. She's already gone through enough.
Exactly. Was there anything that you left out of the book that you didn't feel comfortable, you know, putting out there? No, you really just put it all out there.
I didn't want to leave anything out. You know what I mean? The same way I felt like there were so many things that some of my friends forgot to tell me. Either they forgot to tell me or they just probably didn't want to get into it. And I was like, I'm not doing that with moms. You know, I watched different moms go through different things around me, whether they were dealing with postpartum depression or they were just trying to like really come into this new life that they have as a mom and trying to get their little sexy thing back. You know what I mean? Like it takes a while to like kind of get into a flow. And that happened with me, so.
You have a whole chapter dedicated to getting back into shape and everything. What was your process like, and you know, how did you feel like you came out from the other side of it?
Well, it was a long process. I put on just about 50 pounds after I had my son. And I remember my grandmother saying, you know, the biggest size I ever was an 8. So you should always stay small, even after you have a child. So I think I kind of carried that with me. But she always cared about our health because Ella Mae ate so clean. We just celebrated her birthday, God rest her soul. It really meant a lot to me to not put any pressure on myself, but I did in the beginning. Because I saw all these women with snap back, bounce back, this back, and I was like, I ain't that chick. I am not bouncing back that fast. And food tastes so much better after you have a child. Like, I have never had so much chocolate and peanut butter ice cream. I've never had French toast at night. Like, it's just, oh, food is so good after you have a child.
Why do you think it is important to talk about these things so openly? Because I feel like we just don't do it enough.
It's so funny to have so many voices in your hand, basically with your phone. I think that some things we kind of feel are off limits, especially like one chapter in my book, I talk about postpartum depression and baby blues. And I think some women are made to feel shame about it, and that's a huge problem to me. And I remember talking to a friend of mine who's also my therapist, who actually is a part of the book. His name is Joe Bolduc, and he kept calling me like after I had my son, and I was wondering, why does he want to keep calling me and FaceTiming me? He's like, I just want to see you and talk to you. Come to find out later, he said, I was just looking for all signs of postpartum depression. And he was like, I really feel like that chapter in your book has got to be so intimate, and you should speak to mothers in a really vulnerable way and just let them know it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to engage, you know, in these conversations with other mothers, because they're always made to feel shame about it, and it's no reason to talk. We have so much mental illness in this country, and if we don't talk about it, then it's internal, and when it becomes internal, it becomes toxic and poisonous.
Between all of that, there's a lot of fun moments in the book, but there was also a moment in the book where you said, you know, there was a point where you said, your doctor said, maybe you're not feeding your baby enough. And you said that was really emotional for you.
Oh my God. It was really tough. Breastfeeding was a challenge. And the the pediatrician that I went to go see at that time, I remember she just threw my self-esteem about it just all the way in the dumps. And I remember thinking to myself, why can I get this right? And I had the best lactation nurse by the name of Linda Hanna, who was just a goddess. It's like she floated to me when she came. Like she just helped me, like, you know, have this beautiful moment with my son where I was able to give him food. Like that's amazing to me. So I did it for a little while, only 3 months. I didn't go the full year, but yeah. It was good.
But that's the thing. It's like there shouldn't be any pressure in either one way, shape, or form. And I think that it comes through in your book. Like everybody's going to have a different experience.
Absolutely.
Right? So your experience was one thing, but someone else might have a whole separate experience. Did you talk to a lot of your friends and everything while you were pregnant?
Absolutely. And the circle, man, that mommy friend circle is so real. I thought you just saw it on like television shows and movies, but it was so real. And I remember going to these different mommy and me classes and just seeing the different mothers in there handle this new idea of motherhood, because we all had kids the same age, of course. And, you know, we just briefly talk about it, and she's like, yeah, I just don't know who I am anymore, this one mom. And she's like, I'm going through this and I'm going through that. And I was like, I wonder why is she unloading on me? But I'm so happy that she felt like she could, you know. And she was a beautiful woman, has 2 kids, and she just wanted to talk. So just listening to everyone talk in all these classes, and you just realize how much they needed to talk. And I wanted this book to comfort mothers.